Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a deeply introspective journey. We're going to look at the astrological birth chart, but definitely not as some mystic fortune-telling tool. Instead, we're using it as a psychological map to rediscover our true self-worth. We're breaking down a fascinating source text that really challenges the entire foundation of how we measure our lives. So get comfortable, clear your mind, and let's explore exactly what happens when we strip away all the noise of the modern world.
So, I want you to really let this question sit for a second. If every single title you've earned, every success you've fought for, and every external label you carry just quietly disappeared today, what exactly remains? It's a question that astrology asks way more often than we realize. I mean, we spend our whole lives building resumes, collecting trophies, and constantly seeking validation. But when the dust finally settles, who is the person underneath all of that?
Now, what's really fascinating here is how this entirely redefines astrology. We aren't looking at some list of your future accomplishments. We're looking at a map of consciousness. Self-discovery only truly begins when we stop asking what we've achieved and instead look at this raw map. It reveals your fundamental nature before the recognition, before the success, and honestly, long before the world ever started measuring your worth. It's really about who you were before you were told who you had to be.
This beautifully illustrates a massive conflict we face in modern life. Society is constantly pushing us to build our identity solely on fragile, temporary results, right? Endless ambition, public admiration, those fleeting temporary victories. But contrast all of that with enduring internal truths, your innate light, your inner peace, and your enduring character. The source emphasizes that when you build an identity only on results, it is incredibly fragile. Why? Because there's always another achievement waiting to replace the last one.
Section 1. The Inner Core, Sun and Moon.
So, while the sun represents identity, it asks a profoundly challenging question. When the praise of your latest victory inevitably fades, do you still know yourself? You see, achievements might boost your confidence for a little while, but they literally can't permanently create it. The sun's deepest purpose isn't endless success. It simply reflects the light you naturally carry. It's basically asking you to find that light even on the days when you haven't won a single thing. Moving inward to the moon, which reveals your inner world. It remembers your fears, your quiet comforts, and all those silent conversations you have with yourself. As our source notes, a restless heart cannot be permanently satisfied by applause. Success might impress the world for sure, but the moon asks whether peace actually exists inside. The horoscope strongly suggests that inner contentment matters so much more than any public admiration you could ever possibly receive.
Section 2. The Mind and Heart, Mercury and Venus.
Think about Mercury for a second. It shapes the stories we tell ourselves, often making us introduce ourselves through our careers or our qualifications. I mean, how often do you meet someone and literally the very first thing they say is what they do for a living? But this explainer challenges us to remember that we are the observers of our experiences, not just a collection of successes. When life suddenly changes direction, say you face retirement, a major failure, or an unexpected loss, what's left? Astrology encourages you here to completely separate your awareness from your occupation.
Then Venus steps in as a teacher here, reminding us that genuine affection rarely depends on achievement alone. Venus asks what you value beyond performance, things like kindness, honesty, curiosity, compassion, and authenticity. Is your self-worth connected only to what others admire, or do these qualities actually define you? The truth is, beauty exists far beyond performance. Relationships built on authenticity, they will almost always outlast the ones built simply on admiration.
Section 3. The Crucible of Experience, Mars and Jupiter.
Mars teaches us through action. It demonstrates that a person can lose absolutely every competition they enter, yet still develop extraordinary strength, simply because effort shapes the soul way more deeply than outcomes do. Courage appears when you keep going despite uncertainty. Resilience shows up when you rise after a tough disappointment. Character becomes visible long before success actually arrives. Remember, achievement measures results, but Mars measures your spirit.
Let's see how this builds. While society tends to measure Mars and Jupiter by winning and status, their true purpose is actually so much deeper. Jupiter expands wisdom rather than status. Every success teaches you something, right? But every failure teaches you something entirely different. A truly wise person understands that identity just can't depend on changing circumstances. Lasting confidence grows from understanding yourself deeply, not just from gathering up more trophies.
Section 4. Time and Attachment, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu.
Saturn is fascinating because it quietly removes illusions. Sometimes it delays success entirely, revealing that discipline, integrity, and commitment are incredibly valuable even when absolutely nobody is noticing them. During periods of delay, a lot of people feel totally lost because they've linked their identity strictly to forward progress. But Saturn challenges you. It asks, do you hold on to your purpose even when there are zero immediate rewards? Those quiet, unseen moments of integrity are what actually become your true character.
Now, this dynamic elegantly maps out a pretty universal truth. An internally rich journey is what actually satisfies the soul. Rahu encourages that initial ambition and growth, and hey, that's a good thing. But attachment to those milestones creates this loop of endless desires. Every milestone just becomes ordinary the second you reach it, doesn't it? That's where Ketu comes in, gradually loosening that attachment to prevent endless dissatisfaction. The source material gently asks us, is your life becoming richer internally or just busier externally?
Section 5. The Enduring Self.
Our source material suggests a really profound, liberating shift in perspective here. The horoscope doesn't exist to measure your trophies, it exists to reveal the steady nature beneath them. True achievement isn't something you display in a glass case for everyone to see. It's the internal steadiness you cultivate. It's having a core so solid that whether people are throwing roses at your feet or criticizing your every move, you remain entirely yourself. Careers change, recognition fades away, but when every single achievement quietly steps aside, what actually remains? Awareness, compassion, wisdom, presence. These 4 pillars are the completely unshakable foundation of your true character. Titles disappear and success arrives and leaves, sometimes many times over a single lifetime. But these elements of your inner world, no one can promote you into them and absolutely no one can fire you from them.
I'll leave you with this final thought today. When the applause stops, the screen goes dark, and every external label completely disappears, who is that person left standing? And maybe more importantly, are you finally ready to meet them? That is the true invitation of the cosmic mirror. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey of self-discovery today. Keep seeking, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.